And now I would like to introduce you to an honorable speaker, Reverend Jonathan Herbert. He wears different hats. He serves as a chaplain for the Gypsies and Travelers in Dorset. He's a climate activist, and he's a big supporter for the cause, for Palestinian cause. And Reverend today to share his experience with us after returning from Palestine in March. He has first-hand experience about what he saw while he's there, and the Reverend is kind enough to come and share his experience with us. So welcome, Reverend Herbert.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Bournemouth. Good afternoon, Palestine. You're probably not going to get a tub-thumping speech from me today, partly because my voice is going, but I want to speak a little bit about Palestinian friends in the West Bank. I went there just before Easter. I spent some of the holy month of Ramadan there with Palestinian, Muslim and Christian friends in Bethlehem, Hebron and East Jerusalem. I went with my 82-year-old climate activist friend, the Reverend Sue Parfitt, who recently attacked the Magna Carta. You may have seen her on TV. The struggle for climate justice, in a sense, is no different to the struggle for freedom for Palestine. The forces that crush the natural world are the same forces at work of international, unregulated international capitalism that are crushing the Palestinian people and are funding Israel's colonial war. We went, firstly, to apologise for our government's support of Israel's war crimes, and secondly, to show solidarity with the Palestinian people. Bethlehem, as a town, of course, was deserted. Not deserted, it was thronging with Palestinian people. We were the only internationals there. Bethlehem normally has 1 million visitors a year. But the town was locked down from October to January. Effectively, there are only 3 doors in and out of Bethlehem. Of course, the Israeli army can shut them whenever they want. And we know that movement around the West Bank is now so difficult for everybody. To go what would have been a very short journey, we tried to visit, and we did visit friends in a village just outside Bethlehem. It took us over an hour. It would have been a 5-minute journey, but the settlers had blocked the road to the village, of course. Bethlehem, a town grown prosperous on tourism and the Christian religion. Now, and the entrepreneurial gifts of its people, now it's having to run soup kitchens for its people, echoing what's going on in Gaza. Although there's not enough food even for soup kitchens there these days. Something that I heard again and again, particularly from young Palestinian people on the West Bank, is, you know what, we can see the sea, but we've never been there. We can see it, but we can't get there. We're locked down. Our lives are limited. because of the apartheid system that separates people from one another. Of course, one of the few privileges, good things about living in Gaza, was you had beautiful sandy beaches. I'm told the sand is just as good as the sand on Bournemouth Beach. I'm probably on, what's that place called? We're shamefully twin with Netanya, yeah. In February this year, led by donkeys, I'm sure you'll remember, graphically illustrated the killing that then had happened in Gaza, the asymmetrical nature of this 80-year-long colonial conflict. On 5 kilometres of sandy beach here, items of children's clothing were laid out to show the 36 Israeli children who died. One child's death is too much. And then what was shocking when you see it laid out, when you saw it laid out in the hand, was 11,500 items of children's clothing to remember the children who've died and are continuing to die in Gaza. Netanya, north of Tel Aviv, has a similar sumptuous beach, like the beaches of Gaza, like those of Bournemouth. In the light of those images of children's clothes laid out on Bournemouth Beach, illustrating the war crimes inflicted on Gaza, on the light remembering those children who've died, I call upon Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole Council to suspend its twinning agreement and to suspend it. Stop supporting war crimes. It's not anti-Semitic to say killing people is wrong. And I want to give you hope, because it is a struggle. Whenever we resist evil on this scale, it's a struggle, and evil pushes back at us. On our visit to Palestine, again and again, we encountered what Palestinians called sumud. You know that word? Sumud, which means steadfastness, never giving up, standing firm in spite of everything. We saw it strong and alive and well in the West Bank. We were privileged to take part in an iftar in the South Hebron Hills at the village of Sumal Khair, where the villagers are being robbed of their land by Israeli settlers. Palestinian Bedouin who'd bought land there after being evicted from their land and grazing in the Negev in 1948 in the first Nakba, now are once again under pressure to leave. Most Palestinians look after their flocks with a pocket full of stones. One well-aimed stone guides the sheep in the direction you want to guide them. Now, the land is full of Israeli shepherds with flocks that have been the money's been given to them by the Israeli government, and they're running their flocks of sheep on Palestinian land. And I'll tell you what, a settler shepherd doesn't have a bunch of stones in his pocket. He has an automatic rifle over his shoulder. That village is being economically crushed, as well as losing its land to the settlers. That village faces economic collapse, apart from daily intimidation by settlers. But what gave me hope was the number of internationals and Israelis who gathered for a simple iftar set on the ground. And there was a bunch of rather rattled settlers watching us. They don't like it when internationals, and they hate it when Israeli Jews and Jews from overseas come and stand up to them. We were there to show solidarity with those farmers there and with Palestinians throughout the West Bank. And make no mistake, my friends, my brothers and sisters, solidarity does work. It works, I can tell you, because I met many Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem who said, yeah, we don't like what your government is doing, but your government's not the people. We see the people out on the streets in their thousands and hundreds of thousands. You give us hope when you march for Palestine. And let's not forget, Israel's not immune to international pressure. It hates it when it would hate it if Bournemouth stopped twinning with Netanyahu. It would hate it. It would have hated it if it had been barred from the Eurovision Song Contest, which it, of course, should have been. And last of all, history tells us that all empires fall, all colonial enterprises crumble. The occupation will fall, will end. My friends, continue to resist, continue, sumud. Ceasefire, peace, justice, now.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you a lot. And now with Bilal for a little bit of chanting. We will have our two last speakers after that, and then we get ready to march.
Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea!